Welcome back. In this video, we shall talk about two CSS properties that are always important. I'm talking about margin and padding. In CSS, margins are used to create space around elements outside the defined borders. What this means is, if this is our element, these are the defined borders. These are the defined borders. Margins are used to create space outside these borders. The space between this line and this hash line, that's a margin. Whenever you apply a margin property to an element in CSS, it's going to create a space outside the defined borders. Let's head back to our VS Code. Margins can be applied to the left, right, top, and bottom of any element. Now let's apply a margin left property to this element. Let's say 400 pixels. Let's save this. Let's view it in our browser. As you can see, the margin was applied outside the defined borders. So from this end to this end is 400 pixels. And remember, it was applied to the left side of the element. That's why we said margin left. So if you need space outside the defined borders of your element on the left side, you can use margin left. And also we can change this to margin top, 400 pixels. Let's save this and refresh our browser. As you can see, the space was created between our element and the top margin of the page. So from here to this place is 400 pixels. Let me say something. When we say margin left, it is specified only for the left side. Same is applicable when we say margin right, margin bottom, or margin top. But when we say margin, it will be applicable on all sides. Now let's do something. Let's just say margin and see what happens. Margin, let's save this. Let's refresh the page. As you can see, it gives us 400 pixels to the side, 400 pixels to the side, 400 pixels to the side, and also 400 pixels to the side. Let's talk about the next property, which is padding. Padding is similar to margin. In CSS, paddings are used to create space around an element's content inside the element's borders. When we were talking about margins, we said it is used to create space around elements outside the defined borders. But padding is used to create space inside the defined element's borders. So let's practice and let's see what we have. So let's say padding top, 400 pixels. Let's save this. Let's refresh our page and see what we have. As you can see, 400 pixel space was created inside our element from the top here to this point. So let's scroll up. Let's see what we have. The space is being created inside the elements. So we can say just padding 400 pixels. Let's refresh our page also. As you can see, 400 pixels is created on all sides, just the same way it was created when we said margin, but outside the defined borders. So the only difference between margins and paddings is that one creates the space inside the defined borders and the other creates the space outside the defined borders, which is the margin.